In today's video, we'll be doing a full X pattern tire rotation on the 6,900-pound 2024 Cybertruck in my driveway. Required items for this job include a jack with a total lifting height of at least 19 7/8 of an inch, 4 beefy jack stands, a torque wrench capable of 151 foot-pounds, a 21mm half-inch drive socket, and a half-inch drive breaker bar. In addition, if you have access to an electric impact, it will make your life easier. I'll provide links to the exact tools I used in the video description below. Step 1 is to set your truck's suspension up to high. I've tried this process with the truck on low as called out by the manual, but it's time consuming since the jack just seems to take the slack out of the suspension's travel. Next, just go to the service tab, scroll down, and select jack mode. This will stop your truck from trying to auto level during the jacking process. Tesla did as a service by providing both jacking points and stand points at all 4 corners of the vehicle. The jacking points are labeled with the word lift, and the stand points are closer to the center of the truck with 2 indentations. I'll be using this 3-ton low-profile jack from Harbor Freight, and while I got the job done, I'd opt for a jack with about 1 to 2 inches more travel. Next time I do this process, I'll put some horse stall mat cutouts on the jack face to give me a little bit of extra clearance. Before we get the truck off the ground, we'll need to loosen the lug nuts so that the wheels don't spin while applying torque. Mine are covered with these plastic hub covers I found on Amazon. They come off easily with a supplied pulling tool. I like using a breaker bar to loosen the lug nuts, but we could have also done this with a half-inch impact. I'll be using the impact later to speed up the nut removal process and to get an even initial torque when putting them back on. With the nuts loose, we can start lifting the truck. Now, as I mentioned, I wish the jack could go a few inches higher. The rear jack stands were one setting too low on the initial lift, and you'll see me go back around to get them a little higher in the rear at the end of the rotation. I'm not sure if there is an industry standard way to do this, but I started off with jacking up one side of the truck and then moved over to the other side. It's worth noting that these 6-ton stands from Harbor Freight seem pretty beefy and that they were very stable throughout the process. Here's the last round of jacking to get the back 2 points 1 notch higher. This was made possible because the front corners were already on stands. Now that all 4 wheels are off the ground, I used the impact to speedily remove the lugs on the front right wheel. We'll be swapping this wheel with the rear left to achieve our X pattern rotation. I'm actually not sure what rotation pattern is ideal for this vehicle since it has rear steer. However, next time to be safe, I'm just going to do a rear cross to mix things up. As y'all just saw me struggle there, these wheels are pretty darn heavy. I developed a knee wedging method that worked well for the remaining 3 wheels. I basically just get the wheel close to the lugs, wedge my knee on the ground against the bottom of the tire, and then lift it onto the studs. On the number 1 setting, my DeWalt half-inch impact driver torques to 100 foot-pounds, so I did this around the entire truck. If you're going to be using an impact, make sure to get the lugs started by hand first to avoid cross-threading. While it's not necessary to use the impact, it does make you feel like you're in a NASCAR pit stop, and that alone is worth having one for this task. With a pre-torque on the lugs, it's time to get the truck back on the ground. Once again, I did this one side at a time. I got this snap-on torque wrench from a family friend decades ago, and it's still going strong. The Cybertruck manual calls out for a 151 foot-pound torque setting for its lug nuts. While achieving this torque, I made sure to use an alternating cross pattern on the lugs for even tightening. All that's left to do on the outside of the vehicle is to put the lug caps back on. On the inside, we need to remove the vehicle from jack mode in the service section, apply our desired height, and then reset the tire rotation tracker. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, hit that like button down below and consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time, this is Redbeard Engineered, signing off.